Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time. Today, we're diving into a book that basically hands us a blueprint for the system of human perception itself, and it helps explain why we so often miss what's sitting right in front of our faces. So the book is Visual Intelligence, and it's by Amy E. Herman, who's both a lawyer and an art historian, and her background is just fascinating. She created a program called The Art of Perception, where she trains professionals in some really high-stakes fields. We're talking the NYPD, the FBI, even the Department of Defense, on how to sharpen their observation skills just by looking at art.
And really, her entire work boils down to this one question. Her argument throughout the book is that most of the time, the answer is a hard no. But here's a twist. It's not because of some personal failing. It's because our perceptual system is literally designed to work that way.
You know, we like to think our vision works like a perfect, high-definition camera, just capturing objective reality. But Herman argues that's not even close. It's much more like an operating system running a really aggressive spam filter. See, our brains aren't just designed to see, they're also designed to miss information. And this isn't a bug, it's a feature, and it's all built for efficiency.
I mean, just think about it for a second. If you had to consciously process every single sight, sound, and sensation around you, you'd be completely overwhelmed. You'd be paralyzed. So to prevent that, your brain just automatically filters most of that data out. And here's the crucial point. That very same filtering process is exactly what creates predictable, systemic errors in what we think we're seeing.
Okay, so how does this filtering actually happen? Well, it all comes down to what Herman calls our perceptual filters. You could think of these as the invisible architects that are constantly taking the raw data from our eyes and building the subjective reality that we each live inside.
And these filters, they're shaped by literally everything. Our biology, our culture, our professional training, our past experiences, our mood, even what we expect to see in the next few seconds. And that right there is exactly why two people can witness the exact same event and walk away with two completely different stories.
Now, what's so important to get is that these filters don't create random mistakes. Oh no, they create reliable, predictable patterns of error. We consistently see what we want to see. You've probably heard of that one, it's confirmation bias. We also tend to see what we're told to see, letting other people's suggestions literally shape our observations. And we often completely miss huge changes happening right in front of us, which is a phenomenon called change blindness. These aren't glitches, they're just the outputs of the system.
So, if our perception is a system, how do we actually map out its components? Well, Herman gives us a framework. And it's important to see this not as, self-help advice, but as a practical model for observing our own perception in action.
It basically breaks down into four core functions. First, you assess a situation, just gathering the objective data. Second, you analyze that data, and you pay close attention to what's important. Third, you articulate what you've seen, clearly and without judgment. And then finally, you adapt your conclusions by consciously accounting for your own built-in biases.
And you know what? That analyze step is perfectly captured in this classic Sherlock Holmes quote. It points to this really powerful idea called the pertinent negative. The most important clue wasn't what the dog did, it was what it didn't do. See, true analysis means seeing what isn't there. And a lot of the time, that's the most important part of the whole picture.
All right, so theory is one thing, but actually experiencing the system for yourself, well, that's something else entirely. So let's try a quick experiment using a visual metaphor from the book so you can actually feel one of these perceptual filters kick in.
Okay, take a good look at this image. What do you see? At first glance, it probably just looks like a bunch of random black and white splotches, right?
It's a cow, the head of a cow to be exact, and it's looking right at you. The nose is down at the bottom, and the ears are out to the sides. See it yet?
Now look at the image again. You can't unsee it, can you? It's impossible. That feeling you just had, that moment a new piece of information permanently rewired how you see that image, that is exactly how a perceptual filter works. It happens instantly, it's subconscious, and it just changes your reality without even asking for your permission.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What's the systemic implication? Well, if our individual perception of reality is this constructed, this malleable, what does that mean for how we all interact with each other? It completely reframes how we look at conflict, at communication, maybe even truth itself. All of a sudden, a communication breakdown isn't a personal failure anymore.
It's a predictable interaction between two different perceptual systems. A disagreement with someone isn't just about them being stubborn, it's the logical outcome of two people operating with different internal filters, which causes them to genuinely, truly inhabit different realities.
And this insight leaves us with a really profound final question. By showing us this hidden system that runs inside each of us, Herman's work forces us to ask, if we all operate with these unique filters, each of us constructing our own reality from one moment to the next, how on earth do we ever build a shared one? This project is free and publicly accessible. If you'd like to support the time, tools, and research behind Crisis and Perception, you can become a supporter on Patreon. For a longer, audio-based analysis of this topic, see the deep dive linked in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.